different. Now I use an ergonomic hook when I go to crochet, and the ergonomics for me is a big difference versus one that has no rubberized or plastic handle, just like so. I'm just seeing if I have one off camera here. I basically try not to have any of the regular hooks around, just like this. I find with myself that it's harder for me to crochet with these because these are made for the machine to hold and not for you to hold. So the ergonomics are designed so that it works better in your hook. As you notice in my crochet tutorials, that you'll notice that I rotate my hook a lot. So when I'm looking for a hook, I'm either looking for one, even if you're looking for this kind of model, is that it has to have a flat edge at some point because that's where your thumb is gonna rest, and even with the ergonomics. So I don't get any hooks that don't have this flat edge, because this flat edge helps you to keep your orientation on the hook at all times by looking for that in a hook. So what types of hooks should you buy? So for example, say you cannot get ergonomics, you don't want to invest in that. You know, a good set of ergonomics, if you're gonna crochet a long time, don't be cheap about it, because basically, you know what pays the price? Your wrist. Okay, so that is just something that you have to suck it up, buttercup, in order to do that. So say you don't want to use these and you just want to go for the cheap stuff that is in the stores. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm cheap too. So, but you should look for a few things. There are different kinds of crochet hooks. This is a resin, and then there's bamboo, and then there's aluminum / steel. So what would I recommend? Go for the bamboo. Bamboo, bamboo, bamboo is your best choice of these types of hooks if you're gonna just go a non-ergonomic way. Then I would choose either resin if bamboo is not on the shelf, and then aluminum and steel. The reason for it is that you have heat in your hand, and when you're holding on to something, the heat transfers from your hand to the tool that you're holding on to. So bamboo, the heat transfers to the bamboo and holds onto your heat, therefore the same temperature is in the hook and your hand, and this gives relief to your wrist. Now the second choice, if you don't have bamboo, go for the resin. This will hold on to the heat, not as well as bamboo, but it will work. And then steel and aluminum base, what happens is that the hand transfers the heat to the hook and disperses the heat away. So basically it's always trying to steal your heat from your hands, and therefore you'll have cramping in the long term. If you don't believe me, that's fine, but that is something that I would recommend for a hook. So what kind of yarn should you look for when you're learning to crochet? Go for the cheap stuff. Go for the yarns that you're seeing in the mega retailers in order to make that decision. You don't know if you're gonna love crochet, so why would you invest all this money into yarn? So what I'd recommend is look for brands like this, like a Super Value, that are inexpensive in comparison. You get a lot of yarn on here, so you get to practice a lot, and therefore you don't have to mind wasting yarn in order to teach yourself to crochet. The worst thing you can do is buy expensive yarn, realize that you don't love crochet as much as you thought, and then basically you've just wasted a lot of money. So what I'd recommend just right off the start is get yourself a great hook. You can go for the resin, and then just some inexpensive yarn, and therefore you can really get started with crochet. In all the tutorials that we have available online, I'm already holding my yarn and I'm already holding my hook. But this is how I go to do it. So if you have a better way of holding your hook and yarn, then you're going to go for that. So let's review how to hold the hook first. Now there are two different ways of holding a hook, and I hold it like it's a butter knife, just like so. Okay, it's in my hand. Do you see how kind of loosey-goosey it's in my hand? I don't have any tension here, because basically the pressure of holding the hook is in my pointer finger and my thumb. That's why I love this flat edge when it comes to a hook. Okay, and so the back end comes to the end like so. Okay, so that's how I hold it. Now you'll have other people online, and you may know that they hold it like it's a pencil and the hook is facing up. Now the reason for this is that back in the way back, like going back long before our lifetimes, is that this is the way it was made to crochet, because basically when the ladies crocheted like this, it was very dainty looking for the wrist. It was all about the image of being a very upper class lady, because in fact crochet at one point was only for the upper class. Well, eventually some of those ladies actually taught their slaves and housekeepers and etc. how to crochet, and over time crochet has evolved. Now if I was to tell you which way to start learning, go for the butter knife. Okay, so long-term suggestions that we've seen in studies is that when you hold your hook this way, you will be susceptible to carpal tunnel in the long term, right in your wrist, because of the way that you're bending the wrist at this point. This is not a natural position versus holding it like a butter knife, like so. See the difference of the way that the wrist is? Okay. So you have to do what works for you.